Welcome to the Fantasy NASCAR podcast. I am Pearce Dietrich. You can follow me on Twitter at Race for the Prize. If you want to get your eyes on the spreadsheet that is on your screen, go to racefortheprize.com. Links will be posted later in the week for the Coda Trucks, Coda Xfinity, and Coda Cup races. If you want early access, there are Venmo links, PayPal links, and Cash App links in this video and also at racefortheprize.com. You send a little scratch my way and say thank you, and I will say thank you. I appreciate you and give you access to the sheets early, and I'll give you access to the deep cuts, the deep sheets. And on your screen right now is an absolute deep cut, a deep sheet. We're looking at 2016 road course data. What? Yeah, that's right. I don't know where you're going to find this data anywhere else. Now, you might be saying to yourself, like, that data is not as advanced and meticulous as your current sheet. That is right. And I think that's a compliment to myself that I'm giving you a free fantasy NASCAR sheet that is very meticulous and has so much there. And it's funny because I was getting hammered with dislikes a couple weeks ago when I kind of went my own way. I was getting hammered with negative comments. We were really upset. And then there was this moment over the last week where people realized, like, wait a second, stop. I was paying $60 for this glorious data, and now I'm paying $0. Like, why am I mad at this guy? Why am I upset? This is like good. And so the dislikes have vanished. They have disappeared. They're gone. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Moment of clarity, rational realization. And people are subscribing now. They're liking now. Like, once I hook you and show you, like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've been doing. This is what I have been creating. This is me. Now you're seeing my work. And you're like, oh, you do this stuff. Okay, this is, do I have to be mad at you anymore? No, you don't have to be mad at me anymore. It's free. If you want to Venmo, PayPal, Cash App me, cool. But it's free. 2016 deep cut on your screen. Sonoma, Watkins Glen. I might try to do a video later this week where we kind of talk about driver rating rank and average rank, and in a non-artificial caution road course race. That's why we're looking at 2016 in a non-artificial road course race. How does that play out in terms of DFS? Some of you are too young to remember. Not really, because most of the people that watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, are older, 30s, 40s, boomers, Gen Xers, older millennials, a lot of the Zoomers, the kiddies. You know, if you're under 42 inches, you don't really like my content because it's a little too, much like work. You guys just want opinions and shows. You want ESPN and you shouting at each other and just coming up with hot takes. I don't have any hot takes. I just have the numbers. And so here's what the numbers say, and then I just regurgitate the numbers. And that's really boring. It sounds like school. I hate school. I hate doing work. I know you do. Sorry. But for my adults, 2016 deep cuts, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App if you want to get access to it. A lot of you already got it, and it's working out really well for you. It's awesome. It's awesome the dislikes are gone. It's awesome that the hate has disappeared, although some of you probably still annoyed by me, but you're able to tolerate me and accept me because you like the information. But here's the problem. Here is where you start to hate me again. Here is where I annoy you once more. I am excited about this week as you've listened in podcasts. Stage racing is dead. Artificial cautions are gone. The long national nightmare is over. It's going to be pure racing and the best car is going to finish. And that's why I might look at a 2016 podcast later this week and we'll look at, driver rating rank, which simply is just an integer form of driver rating. Because, and the reason I do that, I'll explain this again for the people that are new. A 119.9 driver rating versus a 101.6 versus an 88.7. Now, maybe you have a finely tuned brain and you can differentiate between those driver ratings and know exactly where they place on the chart. I don't. If you have a standard deviant mind, then cool, awesome. But an easier way is to take those numbers and just say, all right, give me them ranked from highest to lowest. So that 119.9 driver rating from Brad Keselowski in the 2016 Watkins Glen race, that was the highest rated driver. Whereas the 88.7 by Jamie McMurray was the 9th best driver. You can also do average rank where we look at their average running position, where if you see the colors on your screen, you can see that 4 is a little bit darker in the green, so it must be better than this 6 in the green. But how much, what does it do in comparison? His average running position of 4th, how does that compare to the field? Well, that means he was Kyle Busch with an average running position of 4th at the 2016 Watkins Glen race. That was the best. Brad Keselowski's average running position of 6th in the 2016 Watkins Glen, that was the second best. Jimmy McMurray's average running position of 13th compared to the rest of the field, 8th best. He's the 8th best driver. So those are just two similar numbers that you can use. Rating rank might be a little bit better, but the idea would be, how does their rating rank, how does their pure racing speed and skill translate to DFS finishes, racing finishes? Is that a thing when we take away the artificial cautions, when we take away the preset cautions, when we take away stage flipping? Okay, that's something that we might look at later this week. You got the pricing, you got the points, you got everything that you need. It's there. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. But this is the moment where I break your heart. And I'm going to take a slight pause to allow you to brace yourself, maybe tighten your seatbelt up if you're driving in the car. Maybe, put the gun to your head. No, put a gun to your head. Tighten the noose around your neck. No, tighten the noose around your neck. If you're sitting at the computer screen, just let's do a pause to think for one last moment, like everything's going to be good. We've fixed racing. We've killed stage racing. It's awesome. I'm excited about Saturday. I'm excited about Sunday. So just suck that in, soak that in, absorb it. All right, it's going to get worse. What? It's going to get better. We got rid of stage racing. No, it's going to get worse. No, there are no more artificial cautions. This is going to be pure racing. This is what we've always wanted. That is true. We've been doing this for a while, but we've been doing this for so long that we have forgotten everything. We have. Do you remember what racing was like before stage? I am no fan of stage cautions. I'm no fan of artificial cautions. I know that they do have a time and place in the lower grassroots series, especially in series where you have lower funding, less resources. There's a multitude of reasons why you need them in the various racing series across the United States, but they have no place in the Cup Series, is my standing and understanding. But here's the problem. Do you remember what we used to do before we had stage breaks? Do you remember what was NASCAR's little trick before we had preset artificial cautions? And I know stage flipping's terrible, but you know what the alternative is? NASCAR is NASCAR, and NASCAR is going to NASCAR. They're going to want to gin up entertainment. They want excitement. This is a sports entertainment business, according to, was it Phillips that said that? I don't know. One of the ancestral suits at NASCAR probably shouldn't have said that. That's probably a little bit too far. Getting in the hot take range. All right, getting the 20-year-olds into this thing now. Here's the problem. Just get to it. Just say it. Pull the Band-Aid off. All right, let's look at the 2016 race. Tony Stewart wins this race. This is that. Now, beyond the shenanigans of Denny Hamlin just magically missing the final turn. But hey, whatever. If you were mad about this event, which I was at some point in time, I've long since gotten over it. I more than appreciate Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart is a legend for what he has done in NASCAR, for what he has done to auto racing. Eldora, just down the road from me, is a magnificent facility. It is amazing. It is, maybe it's not the greatest dirt track in the United States, but it is one of them. It is a mecca of dirt racing. It is a place to be, and it is wonderful what he has done for just so many ways. Now, there's just no reason. Now, you can be upset about this race. I don't know how you can still be upset about this 2016 Sonoma race. He didn't do anything wrong. He just did what he did. But, I mean, there's probably one family that could be upset about Tony Stewart. Not getting into that. That's not my shtick. But you get over that. And the names aren't really going to matter. But just to highlight that this was that Tony Stewart race. But how did Tony Stewart get the lead? Do you remember how did Tony Stewart... remember, Tony Stewart was terrible in 2016. It was great that he got his final win. Awesome. Great. Chugging the vino in victory lane, gets that celebration, puts a cap on his career. Good. Sail into the sunset. We can kind of forget about some of the crazy shenanigans. Shenanigans, puts it lightly, that clouded the final years of his career. But how did he get the lead? Do you remember how did Tony Stewart, a guy that had struggled all year and would struggle for the rest of the year, how the hell did he win a race? How the hell did he win at Sonoma? Well, this is where I break your heart. So we can look at Sonoma, we can look at the previous data, and we go down here, and For those driving the car, can't see what's on the screen. People that can see on the screen probably are puking a little in their mouth. Our old friend Jacques Debray was a significant factor in previous forms of racing. The old debris caution, or debris caution, if you're an F1 guy, that was a big thing. NASCAR doesn't want to run a ton of green flag laps. They find it to be kind of boring, and they get worried that people are going to change the channel. So at a certain point, before we had these artificial commercial-driven cautions, we had our friend Jacques Debray, who would appear out of nowhere when runs got a little long. So at Sonoma in 2016, we run 38 green flag laps, and we get a debris caution. How about that? And then, how crazy is this? Next time around, we again run 38 green flag laps, and then, wouldn't you know it, another debris caution. That's kind of crazy. Same time, 38 laps, getting a debris caution. It's almost like this was artificially planned stage breaks. But it's worse than that, because at least nowadays, with the stage breaks and stage cautions, everyone knows when they're going to happen. Everyone knows what you can do and what you can't do. Does it lead to stage flipping at the road courses? It absolutely does, and it messes things up. It's probably not the worst thing at the intermediate tracks. But here's the problem. When NASCAR executives in the suits decide that, yep, we're going to throw the caution now at a random time where not everyone knows, obviously none of the drivers know, when is the caution going to come out? When's it going to come? Is it now or then? Like, when everyone knows, they can build strategy around it. When no one knows, it's going to randomly reshuffle the deck. And so on lap 88, we get the debris caution. And who magically cycles to the lead? Wouldn't you know it? Tony Stewart leads the last 22 laps, was never really in contention, but had pit, was in the right place at the right time when the caution came out, and he cycles to the lead, and there you go. There you have it. And that was his final win for a driver that maybe got a favor from NASCAR, who knows, and then a favor from Denny Hamlin on the last lap. But remember those days? Those tinfoil days? And I know we still all have our shiny tinfoil hats, and we pull them out quite often. But boy, did we have a lot of tinfoil hats a decade ago. And they're going to come back out at COTA. And you say, oh, well, that was just Sonoma. Okay. What do you think? Take a guess. Did Jacques Debray make an appearance at Watkins Glen when the racing got a little long? Dude, guys, you're going. This is boring. I can't watch you turn laps. So we flip over here to Sonoma, and wouldn't you know it, we get 13 laps, which isn't terrible, but there it is, debris caution. Then you run 33 laps, and sure enough, what breaks up the action in a 33-lap run? It's not going to be a wreck. Probably not going to have a wreck 33 laps in. You know what you're going to have is NASCAR saying, we got to gin up some excitement. And it's going to be debris. How do you say it? I'm saying it the European way, the Southern way. Debris on pit road. Debris caution on pit road after a 33-lap run, which is going to benefit people. I wonder if someone else cycled to the lead right there or not. I was on lap 52, and it looks like Brad Keselowski pops back onto the scene. Brad Keselowski had not led any laps before that, so it looks like that probably benefited Brad Keselowski. I don't know where he was running before. You can kind of see if you go back to this old school data by going to, I think they have lap by lap. It's not the most intensive. It's weird how sometimes, like in the past, you used to get more data from NASCAR than we do now. But we used to get more practice than we did now. Like, we went backwards. So it goes. I don't know. We'll see. Where was Brad Keselowski running? I think we looked at the data earlier, and he had a high driver rating and average running position rating. So, nope. So, lap 0, 12th, lap 10, 8th, lap 25th, lap 30, 10th, lap 40, 4th, Lap 50, 11th. So he's good, but he's not elite. And then we get that Jacques Debré, and all of a sudden, lap 61st, lap 71st, lap 81st. How about that? So there it is. You ready for this? Na 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 na. Yeah, it's not going to be, maybe not. Maybe NASCAR will keep their hands in their pockets and will not hit the button and not throw the yellow flag. But I just don't see that happening. I just can't see them letting this thing run green. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But in their defense, and I don't have a problem with this necessarily, whatever. I mean, if it's close, throw the caution. They're going to throw the caution. They may even throw out a competition caution, being that they're NASCAR. But there's your heartbreak of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. Probably not going to get any donations after that gut punch. But, hey, I experienced the gut punch as well, right? So, sucks for all of us.